All right, welcome back, folks, and let's talk about the controversial ending of AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday on TBS. Yes, coming audio, includes some extra stuff we will talk about. So, the show kicked off, right? You watch AEW Dynamite. If you haven't, well, I'll get you up to speed. So the show kicked off this past Wednesday on Dynamite of the Young Bucks, Okada, all three champions, of course, champions, as Taz would say, pulling up in the parking lot back outside of the arena. I can't remember, Jacksonville. They were in Jacksonville. And all three champions got out of their cars. Their car went away, and another car pulled up right behind them. And the door opened up, and out comes Jack Perry, the scapegoat. So all the security people come running like, no, 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 you cannot enter. You cannot enter. And the Young Bucks were like, yeah, he's coming with us inside, so you better back off. I'll fire you. So Jack Perry joined the Young Bucks and Okada. So the first match of Dynamite was between Swerve Strickland, your new AEW World Champion, against Kyle Fletcher in a one-on-one match. And of course, throughout, that was a great match. I wish they had more. Again, Swerve Strickland, your first ever AEW African American World Champion. History was made. There was no celebration. There was no, award. There was like no nothing. He just came out as a champion, defend the title. I'm like, you think you have some kind of package, or maybe they did. I just didn't pay attention. But I don't know, man. Celebrate it. You will get only one of these in your lifetime, especially through a new company. Celebrate it. I don't get that part, man. I don't know. That's just me. But he came out and had an opening match with Cal Fletcher. It's pretty solid. Of course, Swerve won. But right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of that match, fans are getting invested in this match. There was a side-by-side screen video of a backstage video of the Elite, right? Young Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry going to Tony Khan's office, knocking on the door, and walks right in. And I'm like, why would you put this right in the middle of this match, right? Swerve Strickland, your new AEW World Champion, you're going to put her right in the middle of this match? Are you serious? Man, I don't know. That didn't set with me, right? So eventually they had another backstage segment of the Young Bucks and Jack Perry, and they're like, he talked to Tony Khan. Did he resign you, Jack Perry? And Jack Perry was like, you know what? I will be out in the middle of the ring with Tony Khan, and we will discuss it face to face. So here he is, the very end of the show in Jacksonville, Florida, of course. And Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He called out, who he called up first? Jack Perry. Called out Jack Perry. And Jack Perry came out, and he was like, okay, let's call out Tony Khan, and we'll have a face-to-face. And let me go ahead and dial this clip here, courtesy of AEW.com. Here we go.
Now, Tony, it's no secret we've had our ups and downs. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but I want to tell you this right now. From the bottom of my heart, I swear to God, the only thing that I have ever wanted is what's best for AEW. So I want to ask you to please shake my hand, reinstate me, and let's go on and continue to change the world together.
Well, sometimes he's a little full of shit here, right? I don't believe that one bit. But you know what? At this point, if you haven't watched this segment, right, that's where Jack Perry hugged Tony Khan, right? He hugged him, and Jack Perry looked at the camera, right? You're the hard camera, right? You're watching me. And he looks at it, and he just smiles. And I saw that, like, oh, God, he's going to do something. Why would you stare at the hard camera with an evil smile hugging your boss in the middle of the ring? You know something's gonna go down, right? Well,
you have to leave for you to really set in. He's a great boss. He's a great guy, and he's such a giving guy and forgiving guy. So this doesn't shock me. But
Jack Perry back on the scene here in All Elite Wrestling. We can only assume that's what that handshake, that embrace meant.
Absolutely. Tony smiled. Oh, my God! What the?
All right, stop right there. So that's where Jack Perry had Tony Khan's hand in the air, and Jack Perry had a microphone in the other. And as they were going around celebrating, their friendship, their buddies now, Jack Perry grabs the microphone, right? He grabs the microphone in his hand. He had a microphone here for show, and just jab Tony Khan right here in the ribs, right here on the ribs with a microphone. And that's where Tony Khan dropped on the floor, crawling on his knees. His acting career begins. So this is where the Young Bucks come in. They're like, dude, what the hell are you doing, Jack Perry? This is the boss.
Cooler heads will prevail.
Wait, no. What the fuck? No, not this, no.
So the Young Bucks were holding Tony Khan on the shoulder, right? And then they grabbed his hand to kind of support him, to get him up after he got that gunch punch right in the sternum, or not sternum, that's up here. Your ribs, right? Your stomach, gastro area. And, he's crawling on the floor, and the Young Bucks, try to pick him up. And each, Nick and Matt Jackson, Nick was on one side, Matt was on the other, and they were grabbing their hand like this. Now, when you see his hand extending like this, the Young Bucks are going for the BTE trigger, right? Their finishing tag team move, right? And fans were fans, and Taz were like, "Oh, don't tell me he's gonna do that to Tony now." No, it didn't happen that way.
Oh my.
So that little plop you heard on the ring, they got him up, and Okada had his thumbs up like this, and he pretty much told the Young Bucks to lift his ass up and go pile drive his ass. The Young Bucks gave him a tiger style driver, Meltzer driver, Indie Taker, whatever the hell it is. They gave him a pile driver. They gave their own damn boss a pile driver right in the middle of the ring. And everybody in the locker room, referees, agents, mid-card wrestlers, everybody backstage came running out there immediately. And the one that surprised everyone was Tony Khan's father, Shad Khan. He came out, and he was like, oh, shit, my son just got dropped in his head. And, it was like a rare appearance of seeing Shad Khan on live national television, of course. So, guess what, man? Tony Khan got dropped on his head. And, the ratings this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, coming from WrestleNomics.com, averaged 683,000 viewers. Right? The lowest P2 since January 6th of 2021. Let's see. Of course, that's steep competition against the NBA, right? The Pelicans and Thunders and TNT, Helts and Celtics, Bruins. That's right. There's a lot of playoffs going on. So MLB and hockey, NHL, right? So a lot of playoffs going on. Steep competition. Basketball are getting about to 2 million viewers. Hockey's getting 1 million. AEW Dynamite got 683,000. So Tony Khan's trying so hard to get those ratings, of course, and now that's what everybody's talking about. Tony Khan getting involved and get dropped on his head. A lot of people saying this is a very bad Very bad segment, right? Very bad acting. It was so bad it was good comedy. Somebody twisted it around like this was so bad it was good. Um, and guess what, man? Tony Khan wore a neck brace. And he wore this neck brace outside of the wrestling business. Meaning Tony Khan's, the Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, football, right? From the NFL. I'm a big football fan. If you watched the NFL draft this past Thursday on the NFL Network, they were doing a lot of the draft rooms, right? From each teams, right? All right, let's check in with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You see all the coaches, all the people pulling the strings to get the best college players in the United States, right? And Tony Khan was sitting in the war room with a neck brace on. I'm like, this guy's really selling it. He is really selling this neck brace. And this bunch of, I forgot to play the clip from from WWE, the color commentary with Michael Cole, Pat McAfee. He pointed it out because Pat McAfee was having the Pat McAfee show in Detroit for the draft. And they're like, man, this son of a bitch, man, this guy's fucking weird. Pat McAfee had no chill talking about poking fun at Tony Khan. So I got a couple clips here from the NFL Network, of course. Let's play this first clip here. And then, of course, there's another one where he had a Good Morning Football interview, of course. So let's click on one of these here. Hippity-hoo-dah. Here we go.
Really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling.
Ooh. Wow. So this interview is from, was it the Good Morning Football interview, I guess they do on NFL Network. Let's play it one more time.
Really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's a big comparison. Not a good comparison. Not a good comparison. WWE is the evil juggernaut. Harvey Weinstein. AEW is Pepsi. I don't know what to say here. I don't know what to say about this comment. You know what? And, I'm going to go off the topic here. Yeah, Vince sold all the stocks, right? The evil empire, he's done with the WWE. He sold all his stocks, TKO stocks. He has a lot of money in his pocket. He's hitting his private plane, going to private islands. And, there was a report going around that Nick Khan was selling his stocks, like a lot of money. And, a lot of people thought of a red flag coming out of it. Like, okay, he's selling his stocks, and that's a lot of stocks. What's going on here is he's preparing for whatever's going to go down in this lawsuit between Vince and Mrs. Grant. We don't know, right? I'm not going to make any, statements here or any assumptions here because I don't know anything. I'm just a fan in my own personal man cave talking about pro wrestling. But you know what, man? It's very interesting, man. It's very, very interesting on it. If this is true or not, I'll have to dig more deeper into this. If Nick Khan sold any of his stocks, but seemed like a handful of people, along with Vince, sold the good chunks of their stocks. It sounds like Vince is done with it, right? He's done. He got his money, probably swimming in an empty pool full of money. Catering a wheelbarrow back and forth to a Brinks truck, and taken to the bank. We don't know. Buying gold bars for all we know. So, very interesting, right? Very interesting. So, let's get back on the topic of Tony Khan here from that very dangerous, my life was in danger by taking a Meltzer TK driver on the head this past Wednesday. All right, here's another clip from the NFL Network. Let's hear what they have to say about Tony Khan and the neck brace outside the pro wrestling world. Here we go.
Mike, it has been a tough week for Jacksonville Jaguars Chief Football Strategy Officer Tony Khan. This is something that your colleague Rich Eisen took notice of.
As Tony Khan becomes the first ever NFL executive in a draft room, shaking off the effects of a pile driver he received on national television in a wrestling ring the night before. Such is life when you mix AEW and the NFL. Tony Khan, hang in there, buddy.
And that, of course, Tony Khan is the owner of AEW, and you see AEW right here on TSN all the time.
Oh, that's hilarious. Rich Eisen, that guy's funny, man. Yeah, as the boss of AEW got dropped by PileDriver this past Wednesday on AEW, and that was great, man. Hey, you know what? Is Tony Khan smart on this? Let's talk about that. Maybe a lot of people are going to disagree with this comment, but, is he smart, right? He's smart. Southern redneck style, smart. Is he doing this like a publicity stunt? Like, all eyes are on NFL, right? Everyone who's a big football fan like myself, right? They broke the record in Detroit, where the draft is held at in downtown Detroit. They broke the record of 700,000 people showed up in 3 days or 1 day. I don't know what it is, but look, I'm a hardcore football fan, right? Caleb Williams, that's right, going to Chicago Bears, of course. Everybody watch football, right? Football's bigger and better than ever, right? It always has been. It's been the audience been growing. I don't know. Maybe blame it on DraftKings and FanDuels. I don't know. I mean, it kind of keeps me interested even more when it comes to the player stats. But you know what? It was a great publicity stunt on Tony Khan. It makes him looks like an ass throughout the wrestling industry. Wearing a neck brace in the NFL draft war room. And it's funny, when I was watching this video, he was sitting in the back in the Jacksonville, conference room. They're getting ready for their college pick, who they're going to join the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's sitting there with a cup of coffee, turned his neck around, and every draft room has TV. They have coverage. So they are watching the live coverage from the NFL Network on what's going on.